Hola, hola! Greetings and salutations to all of you, including the hater vegans. Welcome to my channel. My name is Oscar Perez. I'm a movement specialist, coach, and the founder of Primal Kinetics Training System. I provide online coaching services as well as in person. My contact information is found in this video's box. In this episode of my beef with veganism, I'm going to present a very strong argument against the consumption of vegetable or industrial seed oils. For many decades now, we have been told by so-called experts about the benefits of reducing, or even better, cutting completely the consumption of saturated fats and in their stead to eat more seed oils. When was the last time you saw a TV commercial promoting the use of lard, tallow, or unrefined butter for cooking? Has your doctor ever told you to eat more animal fats or animal source foods to improve your health? Very few health practitioners and activists have been fighting the good fight against Big Pharma, the chemical food industry, and the agrochemical industry for years, but with little progress, for many reasons. One being that these industries are very powerful and have influenced the government to help them push their agenda. And the result is that the majority of people have been programmed to believe their lies and deem them as unrefutable truths. I am aware that most of you watching this video already agree with me on this point, and that I am perhaps just preaching to the choir. But hopefully my message will reach at least one person. That would make me very happy. And that this person will start making life changes to improve his or her health. And perhaps, if I'm lucky, he or she will help others too. A domino effect has to have a beginning, and it has to start somewhere. Am I right? The rapidly rising rates of chronic disease in industrialized nations has been attributed firstly to saturated fats, for the most part. And some light has been shed onto sugar, finally. I agree that sugar is a major factor for this problem, but we must not make the mistake of putting the blame onto just one thing. It is more nuanced than that. What about highly refined foods, which I like to call plastic foods? This requires its own video. But very little we have heard about the dangers of vegetable oils. Even though there's plenty of research and articles written about this, not many people know nor understand why we should not consume these type of oils. These oils have been extracted from various seeds, corn and beans. The most common include a variety of rapeseed, soybean, corn, sunflower, safflower, peanut, etc. Unlike coconut oil or olive oil that can be extracted by cold pressing, these newfangled or fashionable oils have to be extracted in very unnatural ways. Industrial vegetable oils were originally used in the soap making process. It begs the question, how the hell did these oils become part of our food supply? A little bit of history, my friends. In the late 1870s, Cincinnati, Procter & Gamble, which was founded in 1837 by William Procter and James Gamble, decided to create a new type of soap from vegetable oils. Around the same time, petroleum was discovered in Pennsylvania, which quickly displaced cottonseed oil, which had long been used for lighting as a fuel source. Cottonseed oil was consigned to the status of toxic waste by the government at the time, until Procter & Gamble realized that all that unwanted cottonseed oil could be used to produce soap. But there was another plus that appealed to their business endeavors. By chemically altering this oil with hydrogenation to turn it into a solid cooking fat that resembled lard. And this is how this formerly classified toxic waste became an integral part of the American diet and the world, when Crisco was introduced to the market in the early 1900s. Soon, other vegetable oils followed suit. Soybeans were introduced in the United States of America in the 1930s, and by the 1950s, it had become a staple in the country. Canola, corn, and safflower oils followed shortly after that. The low cost of these oils for cooking, combined with strategic and splendid marketing strategies, made them widely popular in kitchens around the world, even though their use was unprecedented in our history. Have you ever asked how these vegetable oils are made? Well, here it is. These oils, extracted from soybeans, corn, cottonseed, safflower seeds, and rape seeds, must be refined, bleached, and deodorized before being put into the market for human consumption. Firstly, seeds are collected and gathered. Next, the seeds are heated to extreme high temperatures. This causes the unsaturated fatty acids in the seeds to oxidize, thus creating byproducts that are harmful to human and animal health. The following step is to use a petroleum-based solvent such as hexane to maximize the amount of oil extracted from them. Next, industrial seed oil manufacturers use chemicals to deodorize the oils, which are a very malodorous once extracted. This process produces trans fats, which are also harmful for us. And finally, more chemicals are added to improve their color. In conclusion, industrial vegetable oils processing creates an energy-dense, nutrient-poor oil that contains harmful chemical residues, trans fats, and oxidized byproducts. I have another question. How did these industrial seed oils go from being classified as toxic waste to enjoying the title of heart-healthy fats? It all began on a beautiful day in the 1940s, oh, the good old days, when a small group of cardiologists who were members of the American Heart Association received a $1.5 million donation from Procter & Gamble. Thanks to this well-intended, in quotations, donation, the AHA had sufficient funding to grow its national profile as a physicians organization dedicated to heart health, and in the meantime also endorsing industrial seed oils, which are currently known as vegetable oils, as a healthier alternative to traditional animal fats. A few years later, a physiologist and researcher named Ancel Keys, now infamous, introduced his diet lipid hypothesis, in which he presented data that suggested a link between saturated fat and cholesterol intake and heart disease. Since animal fats are a rich source of dietary saturated fat and cholesterol, they became the object of his mockery. Not only he labeled animal fats as being unhealthy, Keys also recommended the consumption of polyunsaturated fatty acids, or PUFAs, which preliminary research had, I put emphasis on this, associated with reductions in cholesterol and the risk of heart disease. His conclusions came as a gift to the seed oil industry that wanted people to buy and eat more of these oils. Soon, ads for heart-healthy margarine and other seed oils became commonplace, and healthy traditional fats were all but forgotten. One more thing to consider is that the seed oil industry was not alone in the efforts to go after animal fats. The sugar industry, which was very powerful back then and it still is, played a significant role in blaming animal fats for the health pandemic occurring at the time. A separate video about this is in the making. At the turn of the 20th century, the amount of vegetable oils consumed was practically zero. Today, the average consumption is around 70 pounds, 70, a year per person. We are talking about average here. Imagine how much of these oils are consumed by many when some of us do not eat this crap at all. Ancel Keys' lipid hypothesis is finally being exposed as being based upon faulty research, and yet his ideas are still influencing and shaping the medical community, with some exceptions such as the Weston A. Price Foundation and the Cholesterol Skeptics Group. In recent years, the validity of the health claims associated with industrial seed oils has been seriously called into question. A 2014 meta-analysis found no benefit to overall health from reducing saturated fats or increasing the consumption of PUFAs from vegetable oils except for omega-3. Our bodies need fat for rebuilding cells, hormone production, and energy. By giving it the wrong type of fat, our body will malfunction. And to make things worse, the average American consumes 57.6% of calories from highly refined foods. PUFAs are highly unstable. They oxidize easily. These oxidized fats cause inflammation and mutation in cells. That oxidation is linked to all sorts of issues from cancer, heart disease, endometriosis, polycystic ovary syndrome, etc. What most people do not know is that vegetable oils have a high concentration of omega-6 fatty acids, but these oils are marketed and labeled as being a good source of omega-3 fatty acids. Technically that is correct, but the content of omega-6 in these vegetable oils trump any omega-3 fatty acids content. Unbalanced levels of these fatty acids have been linked to many types of cancers and a host of other issues. Several sources of information suggest that human beings evolved on a diet with a ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 essential fatty acids of approximately 1, whereas in Western diets the ratio is somewhat between 15 to 1 to 16.7 to 1. That is crazy. It has been shown in studies that a ratio below 4 to 1 brings health benefits to those with certain chronic diseases such as cardiovascular heart disease, where the 4 to 1 ratio was associated with a 70% decrease in total mortality, and a ratio of 2.5 to 1 reduced rectal cell proliferation in patients with colorectal cancer, just to name a few. Many of these oils contain BHA and BHT, which are artificial antioxidants that keep the food from spoiling quickly, but they have been shown to produce potential cancer compounds in the body. They have also been linked to autoimmune disorders, infertility, behavioral problems, and liver and kidney damage. In addition to being nutrition poor and full of unsavory chemicals and toxic byproducts, the majority of industrial seed oils are derived from genetically modified plants. Few studies have been conducted on the long-term safety of consuming GMFs, which it should be sufficient for us to avoid consuming these type of foods. Other studies suggest a strong link between these oils and gastrointestinal conditions. Women with irritable bowel syndrome demonstrate significantly elevated levels of arachidonic acid and omega-6 fatty acids, which is abundant in industrial seed oils, compared to healthy controls. The following is a list of other health concerns related to the high consumption of vegetable oils and omega-6 fatty acids: asthma, macular degeneration, osteoarthritis, infertility, inflammation, diabetes and obesity, cognition, and mental health. As you have heard from me before, the quality of the source is what really matters, and it is no different when it comes to omega-6 fatty acids. Whole food sources of omega-6 fatty acids include nutrients that protect this fatty acid from becoming oxidized, and they are also not exposed to the chemicals and industrial treatments that make industrial seed oils so toxic. And finally, please be sure to incorporate plenty of saturated and monosaturated fats from good animal source foods into your diet. The wilder the animal, the better it is, as long as they are healthy and treated humanely. I use cultured butter and lard from pastured raised cattle for cooking, but you could use other alternatives such as coconut oil, ghee, tallow, or duck fat if you prefer it. Thanks for watching and supporting my channel. Catch me on the next one. Goodbye.